Fuzz pedals. How many is too many? Well, you're asking the wrong guy because I have a big box of fuzz, and I have many more like that all over my studio, which is a sound laboratory.
I think I'll grab something later in the laboratory.
And because of that, I decided to test as many fuzz pedals as I could for my guitar rig that I was building for the Rockspostrophe tour in 2024. And I'd like to take you on a little journey to show you how I test fuzz pedals, because I do it a little differently. I have some criteria. Specifically, I like to see if they make a unique sound, can they clean up, and do they also work together? Sometimes fuzz pedals don't like each other. I like to make them be friends. Welcome to my 7-part fuzz extravaganza. I'm going to test every pedal in this box of fuzz, and here's the main thing. I want them to speak to me. I want them to say, choose me, put me in your rig.
Choose me, Master Dweezil, and put me in your guitar rig.
I need you to listen and tell me what you think about them, and let's find out together which ones actually make it to the final rig that I used on Rockspostrophe. All right, are you ready to start listening to fuzz and all the layered and textured sounds that I'm going for? Here we go. Hi everybody, welcome to Hikari Studios. Today I'm going to be testing fuzz pedals as I build my guitar rig for the Rockspostrophe tour. I have 4 things that I'm testing for, and the first one is, does it have a unique sound or character? The second one is, does it clean up? The third one is, does it stack well? Does it play well with other pedals? And then the fourth is, if it does all of those things, can I build it inside the Fractal itself? Meaning, does the pedal even need to be there? Because if I could build it in the Fractal, then I'm saving space to have a different unique sound. So with that said, I have 3 fuzz pedals that are all probably the most vintage sounding fuzz pedals that I have. We're going to compare 3 at a time and see what they do. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to show you my core sound, the fundamental sound that I use. And what I like about this is it doesn't have too much gain and it cleans up well. And I can show you what it sounds like on the left and on the right and together. So together it sounds like this. So you can see it cleans up really well, gets chimey when the volume's almost all the way off. Let's hear left and right of that, just so you have a core sound, so you know what I'm hearing. All right, here is the right side. So you can see one side has less gain, and when you play them together, they kind of play off of each other. There's almost a little movement in the sound because one has more attack, one has more bloom to the note. So it's going to work well when I have different pedals that I try just on the left or just on the right, or even when I have something that goes to both sides. It'll still kind of operate differently, and that's what I like about this kind of rig. So first pedal we're going to try is the Two-Face Fuzz from TrueFi, and it's a vintage pedal. It's made to be like a vintage pedal, let's say. And it has a 1969 mode and a 1970 mode. They both sound a little different. I'm going to put it on across both sides and let's listen. That's on the 1970s kind of sound. It sounds good to me. And let's see if it cleans up. So it's got good attitude. It's thick. It's got a creamy tone to it. It's easy to play. It's kind of compressed on the attack. And it does clean up. So I like that. It's got a good vintage sound. Let's hear what it sounds like on 69 mode. See if we hear a difference. A little less gain, a little muddier. Let's see if it cleans up. It's roughly the same in the cleanup department. Back to 70. It's more compressed. There's more gain. It's got more attack. So they're both actually pretty cool. It just depends on what I want to do with it. I could probably turn down, have even less fuzz, but what's the point of that, really? Because when you want fuzz, you want to just kick it on and have it be in your face. So that one sounds good. Now I'm going to go with the Gooch Effects pedal. This was a custom-made pedal that's like a tone bender, but it's called the Dweezbender, and it's got some special germanium products in it. So this one tends to get a lot of sustain, which is really cool. Well, let's see what happens when I plug it in. It's also pretty quiet considering, I mean, there's a little bit of a hum right at the moment, but there's not a lot of hiss. For that amount of gain, that's pretty quiet. So let me hear it on each side. So the left side. Now the other side. See if it cleans up. It does clean up, but it stays a little more spitty. It's got some kind of transistory sound, but still useful. Especially because with the amount of gain and sustain you get when it's on. So definitely got a lot of things going on that I like. It's probably going to end up on the board in this location where I can run it across both amps and have access to it with my foot, independent of any kind of already pre-made preset. I have another Gooch Effects pedal, which is also a vintage style. This one's called the Dirty Hippie, and it's another germanium one, but it's a different voicing. Let's see what it sounds like. Here we go. Sounds good. Now, here's another thing about fuzz pedals. They don't generally like to be in line with a bunch of other fuzz pedals. So I can hear it acting a little bit weird, but not in a bad way. I still would be able to use it for textures, you know. So does it have a unique texture? Does it clean up? And does it play well with others? Well, I haven't tested the play well with others. Could I do it in the Fractal? I don't think I could do any of these in the Fractal and make it as close to the analog richness that these have. Plus, there's a feel that is coming from these pedals that is different than what I would get when it's directly inside the Fractal. I might be able to get the tone close, but the feel would not be the same. I already know that based on experience. But let's listen again to the Dirty Hippie and see what it sounds like. It's kind of crushing with all of the other things that are probably adding some weirdness in the electronics. I think this one might clean up a little bit. Let's check it. It does clean up. The thing is, none of these do the thing that a single fuzz pedal that's not being interfered with by impedance issues, the way an old fuzz pedal would clean up, it would give you that really bright, super clean sound that you hear Jimi Hendrix get and other people that have used fuzz pedals. You just roll your volume off and you end up with a clean tone rhythm sound, and then you roll it back up and you have your lead tone. This doesn't completely clean up that way. And, you know, here's the difference. No fuzz pedals. That's even cleaner, you know, kind of what I was just talking about. But, if I put the pedal on, starting with this sound, and let me see if I can make this maybe not sound as pinched. I think maybe some of it's coming from like an impedance issue, but it may also just be the bias control and some of the fuzz. Let's see if this makes any kind of a difference. I'm going to try turning the bias up. Feels like the attack is getting even more compressed. I like it better when it's down. Let me turn down some fuzz. So that starts to get into the territory for me of a different texture. This is one that might be good on its own, going to both sides, but it's possibly a useful pedal to put on just one side because it's got a different kind of attack to it. So let's just listen to each side for a second. Let's hear the other side. This one is definitely cool, but I would have to see if I have other things that do stuff that I like more. The last thing I'm going to check here is whether or not any of these are stackable. Sometimes in a situation like this, I really wouldn't stack them because gain plus more gain is probably equaling problems, noise, and other things. But you never know. Sometimes you might get a really interesting, unique sound. So let's give it a go. That's the two-face. I'm going to try the two-face and the dirty hippie because the dirty hippie has less gain right now. Let's see what it sounds like when I bring the volume back up. So it seems like they could stack. They don't make too much noise, so that's good to know. All right, now let's see what happens. The Dweezbender has so much gain, I suspect it's going to be a little crazy. So let's start with that one on. Now the two-face with it. So from a sustain point of view, it could be very useful. Let's see just noise. Ready? That's with the volume wide open. Now volume off, but let's just hear for hiss. Not terrible. There's still a bit of a ground hum in there, which I can maybe find what the culprit is, get rid of that gremlin later. But that's actually not too bad. I was expecting much worse. So now let's go full tilt, all three, all at once. All right, so let's hear it with the two, and then I'll step on the dirty hippie. Looks like you could stack all three. Don't know if I would, but good news is it's there if I need it. All right, that is the first 3 pedals done. Which of those 3 pedals was your favorite? Comment down below and let me know why. I actually read your comments. I bet you didn't know that. But now you do. Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any more episodes of Box of Fuzz or any of my other videos. All right, see you next time.